Well, hello there, folks. Sty North here. I thought that today I'd do a Sty story for you. Um, I was going to say I'm just sitting back in the Sty Shack just chilling. Well, it's hard to be chilling today. It's 95 degrees out, 90% humidity, very hot, just to say the least. And it's even hot here in the shack. I've got a couple of fans going, and it's making it comfortable. But I'm not chilling. So, anyway, Sty Story. Haven't done one for a while. This one's really not about bushcrafting. It's just an experience that I had. Um, and it came to mind because I was watching one of my dear YouTube friends' channels, Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and he was doing little EDC kits, and he includes in there the little footy pantyhose for water filtration and for other purposes. And right away that made me think, well, I got a Sty story for you that has to do with pantyhose that you might get a kick out of. So this one's for the fun of it. This is just a fun, kind of unusual Sty story. I think I'm going to call this one I've Got Legs. Okay? Okay. Going way back in my younger days. I used to scuba dive. I loved scuba diving. It was a passion of mine at the time. I was quite young, too, at the time. And I like to dive in a lot of the Minnesota, Wisconsin freshwater lakes, and especially in Lake Superior. Well, Lake Superior is a whole different animal if you're scuba diving in Lake Superior. It's cold all year round. It's very cold. And I had taken a trip with some fellas. There was a group of 6 of us, and we traveled together up to northern Minnesota on the north shore of Lake Superior, and we did some wreck diving on some sunken ore boats that were along the shoreline up there. And we were there for 3 days and did a lot of diving. Well, this one fella had told me that he had a trick that I should try that had to do with putting on a wetsuit. Well, I had a full body wetsuit, not a bib style, not a 2-piece pants and top. It was a full body wetsuit, and it was a bugger to put on. Excuse me. It was so hard to pull that on. You got that neoprene or whatever it's called material the wetsuit's made out of, with a nylon interior to it, and it does not pull good against skin. It just doesn't do it. It's very difficult to put on. It's actually easier to put on if you get yourself wet and then try to pull your wetsuit on. But he said, you know, you ought to try putting on a pair of pantyhose. You'd be surprised how easy it is to get in your wetsuit wearing pantyhose. He said, even with the arms, if you cut the legs off a pantyhose and you put one on each arm, you can slide your arms right into that wetsuit, grab the toe of that pantyhose and pull it right out of the sleeve of your wetsuit. But it goes on so easily. Well, most of you have learned, Sty, you give me an idea, and I'm probably going to go out and try it. Well, so there we are up in northern Minnesota scuba diving. There's 6 of us. And we stopped in this little town, and we went into their little general store, And this gal that ran the store there asked if she could help us, and I said, well, yeah. I said, we need pantyhose. Oh boy, did she give the six of us a look. You know, six men in there looking for pantyhose. Well, she took us over to where the pantyhose were, and we looked at them, and she recommended legs. They come in a little egg. She said, that way you can just throw that egg in your gear, and they're easy to find. She kind of got a kick out of the fact when we told her what we are going to use them for, and she says, boy, you won't want to be using those in front of people, will you? I said, nah, probably not. So we all bought our pantyhose. We all got a couple pairs, right? We went out on the boat, and we tried out those pantyhose. Well, we're not mixed company, it's just six men, so we're out there in nothing but pantyhose. And then, of course, our wetsuits. Well, we dove for the longest time. Then we decided to take a break and go to shore and have some shore lunch. So we ran the boat to shore, and we got out of the boat, and we got on shore. We started a little fire. We're going to have a shore lunch. And you're not going to walk around on that shore when it's 80 degrees outside, 80, 85 degrees, in a wetsuit. So, of course, we took our gear all off. Well, there's six men out there having shore lunch, and here comes a Zodiac, if you know what a Zodiac is. It's an inflatable boat with a big outboard motor on it. And there's a Zodiac coming in with a bunch of divers on board. And we thought, hey, that's cool. We'll get to talk to them about that wreck we dove on and see what they're doing for today. And they're pulling in and they're waving at us, and we're all standing on the shore waving back. And that boat runs up on the shoreline, and it unloads, and there's about 10 people. There's one guy, all the rest are women, on a scuba diving expedition. And they all stood there looking terribly shocked, except for a few of them who were laughing hysterically. When we turned and looked at each other like, what are they laughing at? And then we realized all six of us are out there in nothing but what we were born with and a pair of pantyhose on. So there's six adult men wearing nothing but pantyhose on this remote shoreline in northern Minnesota. And we've got close to a dozen women that just got off a boat catching us out there in our legs. So we proved it. If you wear nylons and then go put your wetsuit on, it goes on real easy, because I guarantee you the six of us had our wetsuits on, and I bet you in less than 15 seconds. And from that day forward, we made sure that our under the wetsuit gear was not worn publicly, because we became the talk of that shoreline for the whole summer. You can just about imagine. Don't hurt yourself by trying to imagine Sty in a pair of pantyhose. Those were my younger days. But that's Sty. I had to try it, and the old fellow was absolutely right, because nylon against nylon slips very nicely. Skin against nylon does not. So he was right. He was absolutely right. He could have warned us, don't wear just pantyhose and stand on a public shoreline. So there you go. There's an unusual Sty story. And it was Bentley's EDC kits that reminded me of a purpose for pantyhose, because he said, if you can come up with any purposes for those pantyhose, let me know. well, there's a purpose for them, but it's not a bushcrafting purpose. It's a scuba diving purpose. But I have to say, Richard, over there at Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, you're absolutely right. Those footy pantyhose, even if you have full pairs of pantyhose, they have so many outdoor applications and so many uses. I just might do a video about all the things you can do with a pair of pantyhose. We'll see what comes up. So anyway, this is Sty North saying thanks for tagging along for this Sty story, and watch for future videos. I'm having trouble with my electronics again, of course. I'm looking at a total hardware upgrade in about 2 weeks, so things should start working a little better for my channel. I'm even looking at upgrading my camera, of course, because the camera's not that good. So this is Sty North saying goodbye, folks. You all have a nice day. Bye-bye.